Hey friends, CGS back with another video, and yes, this box can only mean one thing. It's NGD, a new guitar day, coming right up. This is a guitar that a lot of you have asked me to review for a long time, and so eventually I did as you asked. So let's, without further ado, open up this surprise and find out what we've got inside. It's a fairly light feeling guitar, and I hope you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Well wrapped, and it is of course a vintage guitar, a genuine Wilkinson parts on it, as it says on the box. So let's open her up and find out what we've got. There's an Allen key to begin with. Warning: children liable to suffocate if this bag is used as a plaything. Well, that's a nice good warning, isn't it? Feels pretty heavy. Let's open her up and find out just what she looks like. Oh, ha ha ha! I can already feel that you have the first look. And there it is. Wow. And of course it is the old aged style vintage single cut. And let's take the cover off the strings, and we'll get rid of the toggle switch cover. That's a little bit tighter than it is on the Bentons and the Chinese. Now the other thing I like, again, it's got this kind of contoured cut at the back, very rough. This is an aged guitar. It's a vintage style guitar. It's got Wilkinson pickups on it. It's got Wilkinson hardware, and I like the fact that it's got the mist match top hats and classic speed knob combination. It's pretty obvious what this is trying to be. And it is, of course, the vintage lemon drop aged, which is trying to be Greeny Moore. So I did try out a vintage guitar for you. There's some real distressing on this. You can actually, you barely feel it on the neck. That's been leveled and rubbed back down. It's all a very, very matte finish. The buckle rash on the back. There's no damage to the actual guitar, to the actual wood, but this is just where the finish has been stripped off to make it look vintage old style. I can tell you that the bodywood is mahogany with a maple cap and a maple veneer over the top, and that was why I was quite concerned before I opened it how they would do this aging and this distressing, because they couldn't go too deep, otherwise they'd have taken the veneer off the top. One of the things I really quite like about the aging of this is there are additional screw holes where it makes it look like there's been some old Clouson style tuners replaced for these shallow style, but which are actually Wilkinson tuners. There's the holes where the pickguard would normally be attached. This has got all of the same markings and dents on it as Greeny Moore itself. They haven't sort of attempted to create the repair where the headstock broke off of Greeny Moore, but all the other markings are there. Pickup surrounds don't look as wide as the Chinese variety pickups, although I suppose these pickup rings must be similar because they're not quite as thin as the big G's. The aging on the binding is, again, I would say it's uneven. It's been rubbed back and rubbed down to account for the differing amount of wear on the bottom than the top. If you look, the top binding is darker and more yellow than the bottom, which is a really, really nice touch because that's the sort of play that it would get. So they've really thought of the detail on this. The book matching on the top, on the veneer, is pretty nice. You don't really get the same, you get a little bit of depth and a bit of reflection in that, but it's not quite the same as when it's got a shiny finish on it, but it's not supposed to be. But it just really looks authentic to the age and date of Greeny Moore, the 59 Les Paul. It's a very pretty and authentic looking Greeny Moore clone. And of course it's been made to look like the aged Greeny Moore guitar. Nice solid pickup selector. That feels like it's good quality. And we will open this up and find out what the pots are like. But certainly the cavity routing and the tightness and the fit and finish of these control cavities is way beyond most of the guitars I've seen in this price range. So it's a really, really nice fit and finish. It's certainly quite heavy. This weighs in at over 5.5 kilos. So it's, and at 2.2 pounds per kilo, that runs at over 11 pounds. So this is a pretty heavy guitar. So first impressions are the dull finish where it's been aged and distressed is quite nice. There's a definite, you can definitely feel that's been stripped off. This has been stripped off. It's got the wear mark where Gary Moore would used to put his pinky finger and that used to rub in there like crazy. They've got the Wilkinson pickups are a matched pair, but they've turned the neck pickup around to try and achieve that neck tone sound, that middle tone sound that was synonymous with Peter Green. The neck is not warped or twisted, and I can't see any obvious signs of high frets. The action is very low compared to how I set it. It's about 1 mil at the 12th fret. The inlays are nice. Good finishing on the inlays. Very nice and tidy and tight. It's a Graphtec nut. Get extra bottom end tone with New Bone XB. Precision engineered nuts and saddles by Graphtec. So they include that. I'd like to say a big thank you to my buddy Ben at John Hornby Skews, who has arranged this and the next unboxing for me as well. And looking forward to that immensely. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I really hope you've enjoyed this unboxing today. It's really nice to have finally got a vintage guitar because so many people have been asking me to get hold of one of these. This retails at £348 GB pounds at the time of going to video in January 2019. And I personally will reserve my judgment and let you tell me if you think it's worth it. In the meantime, As always, my friends, you take really good care.